Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
I know it sounds cliche, but this is the calm before the storm. Things are looking just fine right now for the most part, especially here in downtown Detroit. But change is coming over the next several hours. Widespread heavy rain could lead to flooding today in some Metro Detroit areas. Current forecasts show the weather getting dicey towards evening. Thank you for being with us this noon. I'm Rhonda Walker, and of course, the best person to talk about this is our meteorologist, Ashley Barrissey, as thousands are going to be hunkering down without power right now. Yesterday afternoon storms knocked out power for over 8,000 DTE customers, and about half of those affected are in Macomb County. Most of the outages are expected to be fixed by the end of the day today, and hopefully that is before the storms start rolling in again. Let's get to Ashley with the timeline.
Absolutely, Rhonda, especially when you consider that we're going to have a lot of rain in a short amount of time. You want to keep checking on those sump pumps today, so hopefully the power gets back on and we'll get them working just in time for the heavy rainfall. Showers and storms are in the forecast for late this afternoon into the evening, and this is why we have issued a forewarned weather alert day. This isn't going to be your garden variety type of shower. Heavy downpours will lead to the potential for some flash flooding later this evening, and we could still even see some damaging wind gusts in some of the storms that roll through the area. This is going to be much more widespread, and the rain will be more intense than what we dealt with yesterday. Mount Clemens live look at this noon hour. We are about 10 degrees cooler out there than where we were at this time yesterday. 72 in Detroit, 71 in Howell, 70 in Port Huron, and 71 in Monroe. Looking at our clouds and radar forecast, most of the activity has been skirting us to our south today. That's not going to be the case, though, as we get in the later part of the afternoon and evening. You can see what's turning off to our west as this cold front sags through the area that we dealt with yesterday, and low pressure rides along that. That's going to create more instability this afternoon. So we have a marginal risk of severe storms, same level we had yesterday. This is mainly from about M59, Pontiac, down south past the state line, well south of Toledo. Our severe threats for today, looking at the potential for wind gusts once again over 60 miles per hour. That was enough yesterday to topple over some trees. We have a very low risk of seeing large hail. And that heavy rain will lead to flooding and a low risk of tornadic activity. So for today, 78 for the afternoon high. We'll take you through the timeline of these storms later on this evening in just a second. But if you do have plans to be outside, take our app with you. Our forewarned weather app will not only give you radar, it'll give you push alert notifications if moderate to heavy rainfall is detected in your location and lightning strikes. You'll want it in the palm of your hand.
New at noon.
We have learned the man accused of assaulting a woman in Troy at a Target parking lot will be arraigned today in an Oakland County courtroom. 31-year-old Andrew James Hall is now facing a handful of charges, including assault by strangulation, felony in possession of a firearm, and aggravated assault. Hall is accused of punching that woman in the face as she entered her car last Friday and waving a gun in her face. Police say that Hall is also linked to a Detroit murder of another woman. So far, no word on charges in that case. And this just into our newsroom. Rapper Ice Cube's concert that was scheduled next month for August 12th has been canceled. The rapper was set to come to Little Caesars Arena with several other guest artists. No word on why the cancellation happened, and tickets can be refunded at the point of purchase. Threats of a strike are hanging over a new contract as the contract talks begin between the United Auto Workers and the big three automakers. Contract talks haven't even started yet. They start this week with Stellantis and Ford, and then next week with General Motors. Let's get out to our business editor, Rod Maloney, this noon outside of the UAW Solidarity House in Detroit. And Rod, these negotiations are starting with a break from tradition.
Oh, it's a massive break from tradition because the new president, Shawn Fain, is basically telling the domestic three that all bets are off, that what they knew in the past is gone now. He is essentially working against the old leadership of the UAW that he felt capitulated to the company. A number of his predecessors ended up in prison as a result of all of that. He's also telling the car makers that the concessions that were made back during the bankruptcies 10 years ago need to be now undone, that the union is now deserving of its fair share, as he puts it. Now we're going to show you some video here. This is Shawn Fain today. Instead of doing what has been the traditional handshake with the CEOs or the negotiating teams from each of the domestic three, as has been. It's usually a very public event. Shawn Fain is breaking from tradition and instead not meeting with the companies and going out to the plants and shaking hands with his membership, basically saying that this is a new world, a new day, and we're not going to do it the way we used to. So we'll hear from him, and then after that, we're going to hear from Dr. Merrick Masters, who is a auto industry analyst from Wayne State University, and talk about his take about what's happening here today.
I have no issue shaking their hand when they treat the membership fairly, but that's not the case now. And until that changes, there's no point in having a big pomp and stance ceremony where we act like we're friends and we're working together when we're not.
We're departing from the past. What that means, you cannot be precisely certain about, but I think they're keeping their options open. And one option you might speculate is that they could not target a company, negotiate with all three companies, and then decide whether they want to strike one or two or all of them.
And what he's saying there is that nothing is the way it used to be, because usually they would pick what they called a strike target, negotiate the national contract with that car company, and then take the pattern and run it across the other two companies. But what Masters is saying is that he thinks that Fain may not follow any of that, and this could go in any of 10 or 12 different directions. We just don't know yet. So we're going to be following along. This afternoon, we're going to see Shawn Fain talking to General Motors workers and also Ford workers later out in Wayne this afternoon. We'll be with him, looking to speak to him more and see if we can get a little more specific detail about what he's talking about. But as things stand right now, it's handshake day, but it's not with the executives. Reporting live in Detroit, Rod Malona, Local 4.
All right, Rod, we'll see how this all plays out when meetings get underway tomorrow. Thank you. The 39th annual Metro Detroit Youth Day got underway today. It's a beautiful day for this. Those who take part gain access to things like mentorship opportunities, scholarship opportunities, and our Pamela Osborne live out there on Belle Isle, where the fun is taking place for tens of thousands of Detroit kids.
Yeah, Rhonda, if you hear that noise, it's actually coming from the stage because there is a youth idol singing competition that's taking place here today too. But that's not all that's happening. There are hundreds of kids here gathered together to have a good time. There are all kinds of booths set up. These kids, though, enjoying being outside. So these tents, we're talking about Wayne State, my University of Michigan, also many other schools, many other organizations here, letting these kids know about the different opportunities that are out there and available to them. It's about as much about those future opportunities as it is about being here in the now. That means disconnecting from tech and connecting with the other kids around you.
To be a kid, to know what it's like to be a kid and not have to always be worried about if I go down the street what's going to happen, or if can I do this or this game, blah, 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 all into the games, and you lose the essence of being a child. You lose that innocence of being able to just do what children do. I know they never go back to the day when I was a child or whatever, but it could take them back to a place where they can understand and appreciate what it is to be a child. Not to have to worry about adult things, not to have to worry about all of this and stuff. And that's what we try to do.
And I think that is exactly what's happening today here at Metro Detroit Youth Day. We are going to catch up with some of these kids that are out here hanging out, and we'll see you later on Local 4 News for a full report. For now, reporting live on Belle Isle, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
And Pam, I see my alma mater too, Michigan State University.
Yeah, you had to throw it in there, but we get it. MSU is here as well.
Thank you, Pam. City workers in Corktown are working to fix a massive water main. This is near the old Tiger Stadium, which is the corner ballpark now. Take a look. You can see water flowing in this area. It's Harrison. This is right near the I-75 service drive. We are still not sure what happened, but it appears a fire hydrant is damaged. We will keep you updated with any new information, both here and on clickondetroit.com.